Let's get physical. It's Jordan here, back in with this week's update and all the physical releases coming to the Switch, November the 13th until the 17th. But before we get into it, it's time to nominate your game of the year. Yeah, I don't really have time to do this video, but I think I have to do it anyways. It's become a tradition at this point. I want to find out what you guys think of as your game of the year. So yeah, first this week we have to nominate your games of the year. If you head over to our Discord with the link below in the description, you can nominate 3 games, which does count a little towards the end vote, but the proper vote with all the nominated games will be next week. So yeah, join the Discord down below and nominate your games. I'm only warning you this one time, so don't complain if your game isn't there in the proper vote. Anyways, this week's games. Super Mario RPG is perhaps the big one this week. It's a game I've been told that I will love, but I have never had the chance to play. Well, I'm glad I held off because now I can play in glorious bright HD. This looks to be a hugely faithful remake of the classic Super Nintendo game made by Square Enix. As far as I'm aware, it's the same content, just with some quality of life features for those of a modern gaming disposition. By which I mean, you can make it easier. Was the original hard? I don't know. But you know, JRPG fans, you definitely 100% need this because you need to show Nintendo where you want their RPGs to go. Please make this sell triple the amount of the last few Paper Marios, okay? Then we might get proper games. And our executive producers Robotech, Feig, Thorn Metal Luna, Precision Plague, Jennifer M, Alex M, Brent McLean, Boombox, Cartoon Soren, God of Resin, Isa, JCross7776, Parsnip Coffee, Instacritic, and Boombox have chosen this as their pick of the week. And if you want it and you want to buy 3 copies like any responsible adult should, or any of the other retail releases in this episode, then please consider using the links in the description. You can purchase from Videogames Plus. That's a fantastic way to support us because they have good prices in really cheap Canadian money, they have cheap shipping, especially to the US, and even free shipping worldwide if you purchase over 80 Canadian bucks, which is about £3 in the UK money. Not really, but yeah, they have lots of great stuff over there, and they are my preferred way to pick up retail releases. Plus, if you purchase something via our link, then each week you will be in with a chance of winning a $10 discount coupon. And this week's winner is Tom S. Congratulations, Tom. You will get an email from VGP if you haven't already with your discount coupon. Thank you so much for your support. Hogwarts Legacy is releasing this week, kind of. I can't imagine there's much of this game on the cartridge. As far as I'm aware, there's been no announcement about a download required, but 1, it's Warner Bros. They don't tell you that stuff before it's arrived in the post box, and 2, it's Warner Bros. They literally don't care. Which is a shame if that's the case, because I would 100% buy this if the base game was on the cartridge and, you know, played normally without an update. I love the main Harry Potter books. People in the comments, those taking the plunge, how much is on the cartridge and how much of it will a download be needed? Please let me know. I'm guessing it's not going to be good news. Naruto Cross Boruto, I don't know if I'm saying that, Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections is probably a much more enticing proposition for those of a more anime disposition. I actually didn't write anything about this because I'm just narrating my script and it looks like I missed describing it, so I don't know what I'm talking about. It's Naruto, it's probably an action game, it's probably super solid from Bandai, you can always rely on them to make a good Naruto game, and yes, I think this will be very popular. There are a lot of Naruto games on the Switch right now, and yeah, I don't know if this is a port of an older game or if it's a brand new game, I don't know, but it's Naruto. I don't watch the anime, I don't know who Boruto is, he sounds Mexican or something, but yes, anime fans, enjoy it. Next time I'll remember to check my script before I start narrating. Persona 5 Tactica is releasing this week, and I think it's mildly unfair it's releasing in the same week as Super Mario RPG. That's unfortunate timing all round. I actually fully approve of Atlus milking their releases to death, and it would be nice if other companies did the same if they have a hugely successful game. I always felt Naughty Dog really missed a trick by not having, Uncharted Dance Dance Revolution. I mean, just think about how many spin-offs they did for Persona, especially 4 and 5. Branch out a bit, give fans something good with characters they love. I believe this is essentially XCOM, or more like the Mario and Rabbids game, just now with cooler characters. And hopefully it turns out pretty good because the trailer looks fantastic. And our executive producers, Vay and Dane Wilkinson, have chosen this as their pick of the week. Super Crazy Rhythm Castle is a game published by Konami. What's going on, guys? Konami publishing a game, and a completely random one at that. Castle, check. Rhythm, yes. Crazy, most definitely. And super, maybe. So it's doing exactly what it says on the tin. And it looks quite fantastic, I have to be honest. We're not exactly starved for rhythm games on the system, but ones with like adventure style gameplay or flow, rather than just playing song after song, those aren't 10 a penny. So I think it's got something good in its favor. Also, any excuse to make Konami realize that publishing games is a good thing, okay? Send a message. My god, Konami used to be the absolute kings. Kraken Odyssey is a simple looking 3D platformer. Kinda looks like it was made with mobile in mind, or at least with assets that were made for mobile. And that's all I have to say about it, which is a shame because I'd love more lower budget 3D platformers like we've seen with Nail Mole and Koa the Pirates of Mara. But this one looks a bit too much of a step below those. Who knows though, maybe the trailer's just guffage. Vampire the Masquerade Swansong, I think, is releasing this week. This one has been wafting around retailers for a while, teasing us multiple times with placeholder release dates, but I think today could be the day where it's unleashed upon the world, and no one's gonna really care that much because it's not Bloodlines, which is what everyone wants. This ain't it. This is an adventure game, kind of like a visual novel but in 3D. Just port Bloodlines to modern consoles. It can't be that difficult. And you know, any publisher out there who's involved in that, you know, limited run, they would charge people $200 for a collector's edition, so you will get some money for it. Just do it, alright? Bluey the video game is releasing this week thanks to Outright Games. Yes, Christmas is coming and those brats need stocking fillers. And to be honest, just like the Peppa Pig game that they did like a couple of years ago, this looks remarkably faithful to the cartoon. And Bluey, he's huge, maybe even bigger than Peppa these days. You know, Bluey, he's the greatest Australian export since Foster's Lager. And to be honest, I'm not sure that's something to be proud of. Maybe Tim Cahill? Let's go with Tim Cahill. A quick mention to Survivor Castaway Island, which is releasing in North America this week. Europe already has this for some reason. Alright, The Low Prince, The Church in the Darkness is up for pre-order right now at Limited Run Games. This is I don't really know, Jonestown Simulator? There's essentially a crazy religious cult which you need to infiltrate. Interesting concept, but according to reviews it's incredibly mediocre. Stealth game without much subtleness. Also quite ironic, Limited Run Games are doing this one with their fan base. Beacon Pines is not an air freshener for your car. You can't dangle it on your rear mirror. In fact, it's a video game. Beacon Pines. I prefer Bacon Pines. Now that would be the scent of a real man's car. It's a video game published by Limited Run Games, which it's a bit of a surprise for me considering that it has all the hallmarks of a super rare release, i.e. high quality but a bit boring, at least for me. I didn't see a single rocket launcher in the trailer. And our executive producer, Totally Grateful, has chosen this as his pick of the week. Alright, the imports. Play Asia territory. If you want to import any game shown here, then please consider using the Play Asia links. It's always the #1 way to support us, and I thank you kindly from the bottom of my heart. Plus, you know, I can support you too a little bit, because if you click our link, you can also get 5% off with our tasty code SWTV23. Just remember to click the link first, okay? Yohane the Parhelion Blaze in the Deep Blue is the big import this week, and I am currently playing it. And yes, it's a Metroidvania from Inti Creates, which means it's a pretty awesome 2D action game. I have no idea about anything to do with the anime, but I didn't really need to. Sure, some characters reveals didn't have any impact to me, but it's fine. You use the characters you find essentially as tools, as each have their own ability which can help you explore more and more of the giant labyrinth. I'm having a pretty good time with it, and this is exclusively physically in Japan with a standard and collector's edition, and it does have English, so if you like Metroidvanias, 100% pick this one up. It's a lot of fun. Watch my review on Wednesday or Thursday, I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah. Also, in Japan, they are getting these games. The King of Fighters 13, I'll mention that more when it releases in Europe in a couple of weeks' time. There's Kabuto Kuwagata, which is a travesty it doesn't have English because it looks like an insect collecting game where you battle them like Pokemon. There's a Momotaro Densetsu World, which is the board game from Konami. Wow, they got 2 games this week, Konami. Whew! There's a couple of other games, and there's also 2 best price releases of Capcom games. Sadly, they aren't any better than previous releases since they do still include like codes in a box. They have 1 game on the cartridge, the others are download codes, so not really very interesting. Now, before we get into the community spotlight, I do have to give a mention to a previously announced import. Some really important information for those who pre-ordered Koumajou Remilia Scarlet Symphony 2. It's a game that's always advertised to have English. I mean, the first game had English, the second game on Steam has English. In fact, the digital version on Western eShops has English. But somehow, the English from the Japanese physical release has been mysteriously omitted. I wonder why this game in a series where Limited Run did the first game that sold so poorly because they did it so late now has English taken out of the Japanese release. What a mystery this is. Before I go into a full-blown rant, we will have to see what's going on, but I do have to warn you, if you pre-ordered this Japanese release, you should cancel your pre-order because now it does not have English. PlayAsia, at the time of writing this, have not updated their listing. It still says English, even though it does not have English. And if Limited Run Games announce this in the future, you should politely stick your fingers up at them. You have been warned. Alright, the community spotlight. McLaren sent in this photo showing off the collector's edition of Disgaea 7, which NIS America, either in Europe or America, they almost always have like big collector's editions exclusive to their personal web store, so go check that out whenever they announce a new game. There'll be like a big duty heavy collector's edition there. Executive producer Cartoon Sorensen in this photo of Get Me Out Please. I don't know if that's a collector's edition or that's just how the standard edition arrives. Either way, it looks pretty sweet. Import exclusive with English. Darky sent in this photo with something super obscure, like the coloring book. I don't even remember if I mentioned that one back when it released. I mean, why would I remember it? Ashura G sent in this photo picking up the Star Ocean with the big, huge, chunking USK logo on the box. Man, I will never get used to that. Executive producer Precision Plague sent in this photo with The Grinch, which surprisingly kind of hard to get, especially a couple of weeks ago, and I just checked VGP right now and yeah, it's still out of stock. What's going on? Pab sent in this photo with some games that we don't see too often, like Saint Kotar, another priest-inspired game. The Catholics are making a comeback. Shane L sent in this photo with the gorgeous artwork of After Image. I wish that game turned out better than it actually did, or at least slightly more functional at launch. Executive producer Z sent in this photo with some great imports, especially at the bottom there. I'm currently making a roundup of imports from, this year, and it's been a really decent year overall. Bunny Bear sent in this photo with a super deluxe version of Dodam Parchi. Sadly can't get that on PlayAsia, but you can get it on Amazon Japan because they won't listen to Limited Run's protests. Radio to Rancid sent in this photo with a lot of East going on in here. Much approved. Give us more East on the Switch, please. God, please. Executive producer Vei, our man in Japan, here with a few import exclusives from last week like Double Dragon and Devil Engine. I'm surprised that's not been as big as I thought it would be. Executive producer God of Resin, thank you for the support with our PlayAsia links. Those PlayAsia exclusives especially really help us out so much, and anyone who clicks our links to purchase anything, either PlayAsia or VGP, just thank you so much. Andrew R sent in this photo with Here Comes Nico. Haven't actually seen that one much as like other super rare releases. I wonder if they're only just starting to send them out. Needless Dragon sent in this photo with the very awesome Cross Tails. That's the Asian version with the English cover. It's slightly more expensive than the Japanese one, but hey, some people prefer English artwork. Manji sent in this photo with the Japanese deluxe edition of Sanabi, which looks like a good old chunker. There is a soundtrack and art book in that bad boy. Executive producer Instacritic sent in this photo with one of the most obscure imports of the year, Sunblaze, announced and released within a week, only in Southeast Asia too, so not much publicity about it. Mickey McFlynn sent in this photo with a couple of great games. I think Dead Cells Castlevania is something I should probably play because I like Dead Cells, I like Castlevania, this sounds like heaven. Nihongo Gamer sent in this photo showing off Hogwarts Legacy and Persona 5 Tactica. I guess they got them nice and early, which is super cool. Choco Loco James sent in this photo with a nice bit of Double Dragon. I really like the artwork on that one a lot. The placeholder they had for it was a bit boring, I was a bit worried, but no, this is pretty solid. Cressa was one of many to pick up Star Ocean, this time the collector's edition, which was on Square Enix website, I believe. Zero Flux in this photo with their pickup of Castle Crashers, which was only available on Behemoth's web store, and I think could only ship to North America like at a reasonable price, so yeah, not great for Europeans. Gundam Wing Zero in this photo picking up Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which I've obviously heard many great things about, but I did hear from parents found that their kids kind of getting bored of it after like the first world or so, so I'm not sure my daughter has the focus to play this right now without me wasting $60, but you know, at least I'll get to play it. And that's it, that's everyone. No roundup needed. I went all out this episode. Please send me your pictures on Twitter at SoWhatAboutGame. DM me. We have an email address, SwitchWatchSpotlight@gmail.com, and the Discord, the server link is below. Send me only one picture per week. And that's it. That's all we got time for today. If you watched all the way through, what a massive legend you are. Please leave me a magical emoji in honor of Hogwarts Legacy finally limping its way onto the Nintendo Switch. Special thanks to our executive producers Dane Wilkinson, God of Resin, Boombox, Brent McLean, Santa Tartaruga, Alexander Cato, Jcross7776, Punky Dooster, Cartoon Soren, Robotech Z, Raven Knight, Thorn Metal Luna, Parsnip Coffee, Issa, Vey, Mental Traveler, Offphone, Jennifer M, Instacritic Precision Play, Katachat, Totally Grateful, Alex M, and Feig. Yes, go check out some of our other stuff. We got a lot of stuff coming. Yeah, not a lot of stuff that have happened, but a lot of stuff that's coming, like the Yohane review. And also, I've got a lot of videos that I've been making in the run-up to Christmas. So yeah, please enjoy them. And also, as always, head over to A Bit More Jordan for a lot more me. Really, there's way more me over there. Okay, go watch it.